Committee, which is being held via Microsoft Teams and is also being live streamed. Today we are considering objections from the Police and Environmental Health to a proposed 10 for 289 Westbourne Park Road. I am Councillor Marie-Thérèse Rossi and I will be chairing this meeting, and I declare that I have no declarations to make for this meeting. I am joined by Councillors Doris Schmetterling and Linda Wade. Councillors, can you please introduce yourself and confirm whether or not you have any declarations to make? You are on mute, Dory.
Thank you. Sorry. After all these years, still keep forgetting. I'm Doris Schmetterling, councillor in Pembridge Ward, which is located just on the edge of the Carnivals area, and I have no declaration of interest to make.
Councillor Wade.
Linda Wade, Earls Court Ward councillor. I have no declarations to make.
We are also joined by Paul Phelan from the council's licensing team, our legal officer Lindsay Le Mesurier, our committee officers Holly Weaver, Daniela Heel and Emily Beard. The quorum for this committee is 2, as there is always the possibility that I may lose connection temporarily during the broadcast. I am nominating Councillor Schmetterling to be appointed as the substitute chair. Members, please can you confirm whether this nomination is seconded to Councillor Wade?
Seconded.
And
I confirm that Councillor Schmetterling has been appointed substitute chair. Thank you, colleagues. Ground rules. Before we start the hearing, there are a few ground rules. Please make sure your microphones are on mute until you are invited to speak. Please make sure that your mobile phones are on silent, and please do not use the Microsoft Teams chat, as this is not monitored. Everyone should have received the procedure for this meeting regarding the use of cameras and how to connect back if you lose connection. Thank you. Holly, can you run through the list of people wishing to speak?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. So here for the premises is Tamara Gavea. She'll be speaking to the application. And then for responsible authorities, we have Matt McIlroy from RBKC's Noise and Nuisance team, who's objecting to this 10. And we also have PC Janelle Caldenez from the Metropolitan Police Service, and she is supported by Heraine Henry as their counsel, also objecting to this 10. That's everyone. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Holly. The procedure of the meeting has been circulated with the papers. However, in summary, I can confirm. Firstly, the licensing officer, Mr. Phelan, will give a brief outline of the 10. Mr. Phelan, can you hear me? Do you have a connection?
Good afternoon, Chair. I have a good connection, just not for the camera, I'm afraid. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I will then ask the premises user, Ms. Tamara Gavea, to present her submissions. She will have a maximum of 10 minutes to do so. Ms. Gavea, could you please confirm your attendance?
I am here.
Thank you. Questions that may then be asked of the premises user by the committee, the police, environmental health, and our legal officer. I will then ask the police legal advisor, Mr. Heraine Henry, to present his objection. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes. He is joined by PC Janelle Caldenez, who may be able to ask to help in answering questions from the committee. Can you all please confirm that you have a good connection?
Yes, all received. Thank you.
I do, Chair. Thank you.
Okay.
I have good connection as well.
Questions may then be asked. Sorry, I have gone to the wrong bit. Questions may then be asked of the police by the committee, the premises user and the legal officer. I will then ask Environmental Health, Mr. Matt McIlroy, to present his objection. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes. Can you confirm your attendance, Mr. McIlroy?
Oh, yeah, confirmed, Chair.
Questions may then be asked of environmental health by the committee, the premises user and our legal officer. Finally, I will turn to the governance team to see if any issues have been raised that we need to consider. There will be no summing up and the committee will then adjourn for approximately 10 minutes to make our decision. We will reconvene to verbally announce the decision today and it will then be confirmed in writing within 5 working days. The full reasoned decision will be issued as soon as possible thereafter. I would like to remind everyone that the committee has read the papers which comprise the main pack, so there is no need to repeat their content. But please do draw our attention to certain points and pages. Let's get going. Mr. Phelan, can you outline the 10 for us? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Ms. Tamara Gouveia has submitted a temporary event notice for a temporary licensable event to be held on Sunday the 24th and Monday the 25th of August 2025 between the hours of midday and 7 p.m. on both days. The notice proposes sales of alcohol on and off the premises and a provision of regulated entertainment from the front door landing of 289 Westbourne Park Road. A copy of the temporary event notice and supporting documentation can be found at Appendix A of today's report, Chair. This notification has attracted an objection from PC Janelle Caldenes of the Metropolitan Police on the grounds of the prevention of crime and disorder and public safety. A summary of her representation is provided on pages 5 and 6 of the report, with the full objection attached at Appendix B. Additionally, Mr. Julian Trill, Team Manager for RBKC Environmental Health, Noise and Nuisance, has objected on the grounds of public safety and the prevention of public nuisance. A summary of his representation is included on page 7 of the report, with the full objection attached at Appendix C. Finally, Chair, I can confirm that there have been no additional documents submitted in relation to this application, and that effectively concludes a summary of this notification. I'll leave it there for now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Phelan. Can I just ask very quickly, Mr. Phelan, was there a 10s here last year or not? Do you know?
Chair, I can confirm, if you can hear me okay, I can confirm there was a 10 for 289 Westbourne Park Road last year in the same name as the premises user attending today. That was for both days of Carnival between the hours of midday and 7 p.m. for on and off sales of alcohol with a maximum of 50 people. That notification received no objections, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gouveia, can you please now present your submission and advise if there have been any additional documentation sent to the council? You have 10 minutes.
Thank you very much. So I have looked through the documentation and the objections that have been sent over. If I may, I'll go through the objections. So one of them being that Westbourne Park Road is a bottleneck area. In my experience and as a long-time resident, I have never seen a bottleneck situation on Westbourne Park Road. It's always been easy access for pedestrians and carnival goers to go up and down the street with no problem at all. In regards to the closeness of my residents to places such as King Tubby Sound System and Portobello Road and the main parade route, I sent over documentation this morning with screen grabs of the map area. And in that, it showed that my residence is 50 metres away from the main Portobello Road. It's also 100 metres away from the King's Tubby Sound System. It is also over 600 metres away via the Judging Point main parade route. And it's also over 300 metres away from the Ladbroke Grove main parade route. So this was one of the objections that I had seen in documentation. Also, in regards to where I would be selling, which is the doorstop of 289, my property doesn't face onto Portobello Road. It actually faces Basing Street, which is where there are actually police stationed throughout the 2 days of Carnival. Also, there was also an objection in regards to the queues and the safety. Last year when I applied, I had applied for up to 50 people in the vicinity. However, we did not reach anywhere near that number, hence why this year I applied for up to 10 people in the vicinity, because there was not queues that made an impact whatsoever. There was not large group of crowds whatsoever. We don't anticipate it to be any different than what it was last year. However, in regards to safety, I will be employing 2 licensed SIA officers to support with queue management to ensure it doesn't spill on the public highway, but on the pedestrian pathway against the home rails, so the gating area of my home. So this way it would avoid any as you can see there in the picture, there is a rail. Thank you for that. So that we can avoid any confusion or stopping any pedestrians walking up and down the street safely. I also have cameras installed at the front of my property for safety purposes. So that is always a plus in case of any antisocial behaviour. Now, in regards to safety, sorry, I'm just having a look at my notes here. No glass bottles will be served from the premises. This is part of our health and safety to ensure that crime and antisocial behaviour is not increased or supported by glass bottles. Last year, we had no issues at all in regards to any antisocial behaviour or any crimes being committed outside the property. It went very smoothly. Also, we will be putting up a poster to challenge anybody who looks under the age of 25. So we will be challenging people for their identification. We will also not be willing to sell alcohol to anybody who looks intoxicated whatsoever. We are responsible traders. In regards to the entertainment, I put in my application that I wanted to do entertainment. I put that there as it was not amplified music. It wasn't entertainment for the crowd of such. It's simply a home portable speaker this size, and it is literally just for the ambience of the workers at the time whilst we're selling drinks. The music that would play on this speaker is not music that you would be able to hear from not even 2 or 1 door down because of how small it is, and given how loud Westbourne Park Road is in general with the carnival goers. So I just wanted to reiterate, this was not entertainment for the purposes of bringing in a crowd or making a crowd. This is purely just for ambiance for the workers who will be selling on the day. Also, like it was said earlier, I was granted a 10 last year. We had absolutely no problem. The license team came past in the morning. They reiterated the rules and regulations, and they was happy for us to continue to proceed with our trading for the day. I've never had a problem trading outside 289. And honestly, this is something that helps me be able to make a few pounds just to be able to get my son's uniform in September. I don't expect to earn thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds like the street traders would in Ladbroke Grove. This is merely just something small with a slush machine, a few drinks, just to be able to get by in this cost of living crisis. You know, as a resident, I was born and bred in Ladbroke Grove. I've consistently gone to carnival. I've always played a part in the mass bands, in the floats, in the steel pan, in the community. And I really hope that you will be able to grant me this 10. You know, as a resident, we should be able to benefit from the event that we give to outsiders as well. And also it keeps me safe. You know, I don't wish to go into carnival anymore. I think I'm a bit too old now. I'm tired. And I enjoy being in the midst of carnival, selling drinks outside the home and getting to know people and meeting new people. It's all about community and diversity. I think I have covered all the points. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I've missed any objections, I don't believe I've missed any objections, but that is my statement. And I hope you can see from the evidence that I've presented, and be granted attend this year.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Could I just ask you a question? Because I'm slightly confused here. Maybe we could bring the map up again. Do you live
Yep.
at 289 Westbourne Park Road?
Yes, I do.
You live there. You said my premises doesn't go onto Portobello Road, it goes to Basing Street.
The property faces
Yeah.
Basing Street. It
Where's
doesn't-
Basing Street? I can't see it.
Right across the road on the corner.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is where there are police stationed on both days. There's about 2 police officers.
Okay.
They're stationed on both days who keep an eye out for everything and anything, which is helpful for us as well in, if anybody needs help of some sort.
Okay, fine. So I will, so I understand that now. So if I can go to the committee, Councillor Schmetterling, do you have any questions? You're on mute again, Dory.
Never learn. Thank you, Chair. I appreciate that you had an uneventful event, as it were, or you issued the notice with no objection. But police are particularly, and also our authority is particularly watchful and mindful of the increased risks. So the first question: what drinks are you going to sell, and where will you store them?
Thank you for your
I know
question.
you mentioned slush machine, but is there anything else?
Thank you for your question. So we have a slush machine, which we use to make slush for the children. We also plan on selling cans of beer and cans of soft drink as well. That is generally what we do every single year.
And keep them where?
So we have a 2x2 table, which we put on the landing. And then we also have a box that would be filled with ice just to keep the drinks chilled. So one worker is at the top of the landing, another worker is at the bottom of the landing, and then we have our 2 SIA licensed officers at the bottom of the stairs, making sure that potential customers stay in a queue against the home rail. So no carnival goers have access to going up the stairs.
So
drink.
everything will be on the landing, all the boxes
Yeah.
and everything at the table on the landing.
Yeah,
So
it's
even
just
look at
one
your
box.
drawer. Pardon?
It's just one box underneath a 2x2 table, which holds the slush machine.
Even in the drawing, I'm sure, it's only a hand-drawn thing, but even that shows the instability of the table. Even you've done it before. And it looks like it's obviously a tiny landing. And what about the residents coming in and out?
There are currently no residents in any of the flats above. It has been empty for quite a while now. There's no residents and there's no long-term resident in the property at all. I'm literally the only resident in the building. Even so, when there was residents last year, they had no problems. There was only one resident last year, and it still gave him access to come in and out of the property as he pleased because we did not block up the whole landing.
Gosh, it's a totally irrelevant question to this, but who's the landlord?
So my
Who owns
landlord.
the building?
So my landlord is RBKC. So I am a council tenant. And then the properties in the building above, they are owned by a company, Westerns, I believe. I believe I can ask my housing officer who owns, but they are all
All right.
private.
I just thought you might know, but you've been put there by the council. That doesn't mean the council owns the flat though, but it might do.
They own a lease.
Okay. So the speaker will also go on the landing?
Could I demonstrate the speaker to you now? Would that be okay?
Where it'll go? Okay, point it out if you like. Yeah, sure.
This is our speaker. Literally, it would not be something you'd be able to hear a door down. Even so.
No, it's not the hearing, it's the positioning.
Oh, that can just go on the step or on the table. It's so tiny, minute.
Okay.
It's not a massive speaker whatsoever. It's not amplified music, should I say.
Okay, so nobody's going to go into the corridor?
No. No.
Okay, thank you.
No
I
one's allowed
think
in the
that
corridor.
that's my question so far. Thank you.
Councillor Wade.
All right, some of what I was going to ask you has been asked. Have you informed RBKC that you're going to be holding this event?
Yeah, so I'm in talks with my housing officer, Alex Green. He supports my application and he said that he is willing to write a confirmation letter or email in support of me trading this carnival.
All right, have you been in contact with RBK Special Events Department about this application?
I have been in contact with quite a few people since hearing the objections. Honestly, it was
RBKC Special Events is one of the departments which brings together different disciplines, so to speak, different departments. So it could be you have to come back with a risk assessment. You have to come back with a demonstration that you've got public liability insurance, and one of the etiquettes with one of the questions is, do you have permission from the freeholder? The freeholder will be potentially different from the person who has granted you a lease. So they're different people that you need to ask permission from. But it, you know, so if we talk about the risk assessment, I think that my concern would be a trip hazard. You say nobody else is living on the ground floor and above. Or are you living on the ground floor? Are you in the basement?
I'm in the basement.
All right. So basically, you will be on the freeholder's property and not RBKC. It's if you talk to your housing officer and he said he didn't have a problem, that related to the basement flat. It didn't relate to the ground floor and above. So that's something that I would be concerned about, because where is the public liability insurance? Because those steps do present a trip hazard, and you do have and you do have spikes on top of the railings.
Hence why we don't allow the customers to go up and down the stairs, because also that is a risk. That is a safety risk. That's why we have our 2 SIA licensed people at the bottom of the stairs, making sure everyone is in a queue and doesn't go up the stairs. That was also another reason as to why our layout is the way it is.
So, sorry, Tamara, I don't understand that. I'm sorry to interject,
No
Linda, but you've got 2 SIA people at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
But surely the table serving the drinks, people have to go up the stairs to get their drinks.
No, because there will be 2 workers. So there's 2 workers and 2 SIA.
So they order their drinks and a worker brings them down?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yes, to avoid any trip hazards or anybody falling up and down.
So no one goes up the stairs?
No.
Okay.
Yes, but the
Sorry,
work
Linda.
the people supporting will be going up and downstairs, and there's a responsibility to them as well as potential clients. That's my point. I think it's a constrained site, part of it not within the jurisdiction or the control of the borough. I think it's unclear. I can see that the top step is wider than the other ones, and you referred to the landing. So in those buildings, if you open the door, you'll have a corridor.
Yeah.
And are you talking about storing on what would be a mezzanine? Where is this landing?
Where you see, it's not a great picture, but where I have made an outline in black,
That's not a landing. That's a top step.
Oh, okay. The top
all right.
step.
All right. My interpretation of a landing, and you referred to where are the drinks going to be stored, and you said on a landing. So are you meaning a landing inside the building or external to the building?
External to the building, right outside the front door. So the top.
can you give me an approximate size, dimension of the top landing?
I know it is big enough to fit on one side of the step. On one side of it, it is big enough to fit a 2x2 table. So I'm going to say it's at least 4 or 5 feet wide.
And how deep is it?
It would be at least 2 feet. 2, at
Oh.
least 3 or 4 feet, at least.
So on that,
it doesn't look that wide to me.
all right.
Behind the pillars, there is still more landing, if that
Right.
makes sense.
So on the top step, we call it a top step, not a
Top step.
landing.
Yeah.
You've got a table. You've got up to 3 people being active in or around the table. You're actually storing the cold drinks on that level. That's going to be really quite constrained.
One person would only be at the top step who will be handling the drinks. So pouring the slush from the machine and getting any drinks that are being ordered from under the table in a box. And they would be passing it down to, let's say, for me example, and I would be going down the stairs and giving it to the customer and taking payment. That's how it's always been done. So one person will be in charge on the top step, who will be handling the drinks, getting them ready, and then passing it on to the next worker to go down the steps and give it to the customer.
All right. So accidents happen.
Of course.
Things spill.
Of course.
And actually,
we're prepared for that. We always have a mop on hand. We always have blue tissue on hand for anything. Even after the carnival is done, we make sure to clean up the whole area, mopping it down, giving it a hot wash and soap, making sure there's no residue on the steps. We're very responsible. You know, we don't leave it to somebody else to clean, you know?
No, I was just thinking if something falls, there's the potential for people slipping. That was...
Of course. No, of course. But at the same time, there's potential hazards all over Carnival, but we do our best to reduce those hazards and make sure it's as safe as we possibly can. Hence the reason why we make a decision to not allow customers to go up and down the stairs for their safety. We can take the responsibility of our own for our own selves, but it's the customers who we protect from. That's why we've always made it a thing that they wait at the bottom of the stairs.
All right. So just for clarification, there's
Sure.
only one person on the top step.
Correct.
Then you have 2 people who are going to be
at the bottom,
handing on the drinks, and then you've got 2 SIA security people. Presumably they'll be on the highway rather than the bottom step.
To clarify, one person at the top step dealing with the drinks, another worker running the drinks down the stairs, and 2 SIA licensed people who will be there to manage the public and the queues to make sure it doesn't go onto the public highway, but against the rails on the pedestrian road.
Well,
so in total,
I think that as far as I understand, that actually the pavements in the context, and perhaps somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, you are then promoting people queuing on the pavement alongside the railing to be able to get their drink. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Well, yes. I mean, last year it was exactly the same setup. I anticipated in my application, that it could be up to 50 people queuing up for something like drinks. But in actual fact, it wasn't. Because we're so small, we don't get noticed a lot. And in actual fact, because we didn't have such a big crowd or at all a long queue, that's why in this application, I had put down for 10 people in the vicinity, because that was more realistic to what it's going to be, the same as last year. So it's not a crowd, you know. There's no way the queue will end up in the public highway. They would literally be on the pedestrian pavement against the rail.
Can I interrupt you here? I would like to get a legal opinion.
Okay.
Because when we say highway, we include the pavement.
Yes.
We don't mean just the road.
Yes.
And I would like Lindsay to come in. It sounds to me from the way you are you're conducting it to avoid the risk of the stairs, that you are actually selling directly onto the highway, which would require a street trading license, which we are not issuing at the moment. So Lindsay, could you clarify that point, please? Because it seems to me people are being served on the highway.
Thank you, Chair. That is correct. The pavement outside the premises is highway, publicly maintainable by looking at the picture, and any sales from the premises onto the highway would require a street trading licence under the London Local Authorities Act. Obviously, that's separate from this application. My understanding is the council aren't issuing street trading licences to private traders this year. Yeah, that's it, to confirm what you said.
Okay. So I think we should really move on. Have you any other comments to make before we hear the objections?
No, I've got no other questions.
Lindsay, do you have any, our legal officer?
Just one question, but I think you might have answered it. In the police objection, they have referenced that you may not be there at the event, but from what you're saying, you're going to be one of the people serving, so you are going to be there.
I will be there. I am the resident. I am essentially responsible for this application. Like I said, I don't attend Carnival any longer because for me it's too much. I enjoy myself more giving to the community, making a little money to be able to buy my son his school uniform in September and meeting people. So I will definitely be at the event. It's not something I would want to leave in the hands of other people because essentially it's my name that's on the application. And if anything goes wrong, I'm responsible. Therefore, I have to be here. Like I said, I don't go Carnival. I like to be at home now when Carnival's ongoing. So I don't know where somebody thought I wouldn't be there. That's not something I've ever written in any application or in any of the emails. Yeah,
that's what I thought. Thank you for clarifying that.
Do the police have any questions to ask the applicant?
Chair, I have no questions before my submission. I think the last point is I've not seen.
I'm losing connection with you.
I have no questions.
Okay, your connection is not 100%, but anyway, we'll come to you in a second. Are there any questions from Environmental Health?
No questions, Chair.
Okay, so Mr. Henry, can you put your objection now? I think there's something slightly wrong with your connection, but let's see. Let's hope for the best. Okay.
Okay, Chair. Thank you. Can I check whether you can hear me firstly?
Yes, now I can. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, Chair, just to sort of summarize then, in terms of the objection, as you are aware, the police object on the grounds 2A and 2B, being that the prevention of crime and disorder and public safety. The first point, Chair, in some ways go back to some of the concerns Councillor Mrs. Wade or Miss Wade was raising around the landlord, and I think Mr. Dory raised the same point. Firstly, the police have been contacted by both the freeholder and the leaseholder, and the police has this email. And both of them have actually said that they don't consent to this happening at the premises because the tenant hasn't sought their permission. And rightly, as the panel pointed out, some of the issues that have obviously come up here today would raise issues for the landlord as far as Occupier Liability Act is concerned in terms of the risk to people if they were entering the premises. The other thing to note, Chair, is that the application says on page 10 and 11, it says they're effectively looking at permission for it to happen on the landing of the front door. There is no landing, that's a top step. And then over the other side, it says the number of people at any one time would be 10 people. As somebody is saying something, sorry, Lindsay, sorry.
Sorry, Chair, I just wanted to interject. This is the first time we've heard about the freeholder and the leaseholder not consenting. We need to be careful about introducing new evidence, which obviously hasn't been served on all the parties. So you need to obviously attach such weight as you consider necessary, but we obviously can only rely on what you've put in your objection. But that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Lindsay, thank you so much for that. I raised that. I am agreeable with you, but I raised that because the applicant says that they send over things this morning, most of which I've not actually seen myself, or familiar with. But I agree. And so in terms of the public safety point, I wanted to just put this to the panel. So where this gray step is where the property is situated, and but if you this is the property here, and then just within yards of the property is this bus stop. So from what you heard a while ago, they said that they will be somebody will be going up the stairs and somebody will be bringing down the alcohol, and there'll be a queue effectively on the roadway or on the pavement. That in itself, depending on whatever side you put the queue, will create the risk of a human bottleneck situation. There's no saying that sort of what could happen if that were to happen. If there was, say, a crowd surge of any kind, there's no event management plan. There's no evidence that the applicant effectively engaged with the council or the police prior to making this application. We've then heard today that the speaker box that they held up is actually what they meant to say that they were using as far as regulated entertainment is concerned. I'm not sure that you need permission from the council to use that specific speaker box, but if it is, then it perhaps for them to clarify whether they are withdrawing that, because the reason I say that is regulated entertainment, they would still need to comply with effectively section 16 of the guidance for that to be approved, and they've not evidenced how they've complied as far as that's concerned. So taking those matters into account, Chair, given that there's no, I know they've said that they've previously had permission, but there's no risk assessment here. There's no event management plan. They've said that they will have 2 SIA security effectively shuttling drinks up and down the stairs to members of the public on the roadway, which in itself creates some danger. You've heard from the council, which says street trading of that kind is not their policy. Effectively, from a private residence onto the roadway is not their policy. And hearing all of that, Chair, I invited to reject the application, taking into account the comments from the landlord and from the leaseholder and the freeholder. I note the fact that you've not seen this yourself, but I'm sure as an officer of the court, you can take my submission as true, and the police is here of that, with who no doubt has that.
May I interject? Sorry.
No, sorry, it's my turn. I'm the chair.
Apologies.
So I think, is that the end of your submission, Mr. Henry?
It is, Chair. Thank you.
It is. I've had a request from members of the other committee members that we actually retire for a few minutes to consider the information that you put in front of us now regarding the freeholder. So I'm saying that we should come back here now at about 1:45. Lindsay.
I think also Tamara referenced herself sending in something this morning. So if we're going to admit extra evidence from the police, we also need to consider what she sent in this morning. Is that correct, Tamara? You sent something in this morning?
Yes, all I did was send in screen grabs of the map outline to show the distance in which my residence is from the main parade route and from Tig Tubby's sound system, because that was one of the objections that was put into the letter from the Metropolitan Police. So I wanted to demonstrate how far away those locations were from the actual property.
Okay, that's fine. So governance, have you got copies of both of these documents that you can send to us now?
We only have copies of the documents sent in by Tamara. Thank you for sending those in, and apologies they weren't circulated sooner. We don't, with us at the moment, have the objections from the landlord or the freeholder. So if those could be sent to licensing-governance at rbkc.gov.uk as soon as possible. We'll be able to share them with the committee for them to consider.
Yeah, can you
Okay.
share them with each party as well? So each other has each other's evidence as well. So and Mr. McIlroy. So make sure all the parties have all the evidence. And Chair, what time did you say we're going to reconvene around?
I think in view of sending emails, should we say 10, we need at least another 10 minutes, so 10 to 2. Yeah,
Okay.
1:50.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sounds
Is
good
Mr.
to me.
Henry okay with that? You have time to do that in that time.
There should be time to send an email, I would have thought.
Oh, he's gone. Okay, we'll come
Well,
back
10
in,
minutes.
in approximately 10 minutes time, okay?
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for your patience. For those who remained in this meeting, can I just double check that everyone is still with us? So Tamara, can you just let me know that you're back?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Janelle?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Harain, yeah, I can see you. Wonderful. Very good. And Matt, can I double check that you're there?
Are we
Yeah,
all
I'm
here,
here.
Holly?
Just double checking. Thank you. And Paul, are you there as well?
I'm here, thank you, Holly.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Everyone's back that we were expecting. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
All right, just to say we're reconvening the meeting now, and to say that we've had a discussion about the if you would call it the late evidence, and we have decided that it has come too late. We cannot, we are not accepting it as evidence. We have the right to turn it down. So it's just background information, and we are just carrying on with the hearing as before that late evidence was sent. And I think in future the answer is, you know, we need to have time to read and understand these things and not to leave it to the very last minute. So I think where we were at, Mr. Henry, you had finished giving your submission. We have had questions from Councillors Wade and Schmetterling. Do we have any further? We're having questions from our legal officer. Any further questions from the committee? No? Okay, so I will now ask if Tamara, if you have any questions of the police. You're on mute.
At this moment of time, I don't have any questions in particular. You know, if it was a case where I am rejected for my TENS application, I would like to know if and what it is that I could do in the future to be able to have a TENS in the future, and if there is a chance of me being able to reapply potentially for this year, or if not. There were things in regards to the freeholder. I was unaware that I needed to get permission of them. Last year, it was quite very straightforward. I made my application. I was in conversation with PC Janelle in regards.
This is a question for the police. You've had your submission, so if you could just, if you have a question for the police on the evidence.
No.
Okay, thank you. So we will move on to the environmental health, Mr. McIlroy.
Thank you, Chair. So just in regards to the application as it's come through, so it seems from the submissions today as well that the alcohol and drinks are going to be served to people on the pavement, so people will need to queue and order their drinks on the street. This does give rise to concerns about crowd safety issues. There's no risk assessment or event management plan in place, and therefore there's insufficient information to give confidence in the management of the proposals. The application seeks regulated entertainment, and we've seen the intended speaker. If this was permitted, there's no mechanism in place to stop something bigger being used. And if the noise levels in this area are loud already and the speaker would not be audible, I'd ask the need for it. The application is for regulated entertainment, i.e. entertainment provided to an audience. This could give rise to nuisance, and people often congregate wherever there is a source of music. Obviously, we've heard from the applicant today who has demonstrated what the speaker is, but I would argue that there was no need to include regulated entertainment in the application. The application states there will be up to 10 people at any one time on the premises. The area is not owned by the applicant, and so is permitting 10 people onto private property without confirmation of consent. Although through the presentation it was seen that these people would not actually be permitted on the premises and so would be on the public highway, and there's no detail on how such people would be managed and what steps would be taken should issues arise other than having 2 SIA staff on site. Where these activities are taking place in relative proximity to an authorised sound system, it's crucial that risk assessments and event management plans are produced introduced to fully account for the public safety and public nuisance concerns. And it's for this reason, or these reasons, that we would recommend refusal of the 10.
Okay, thank you. Committee, do you have any questions of environmental health?
No.
Councillor Wade?
No,
Okay, so moving on. Lindsay Le Mesurier, do you have any, legal officer, do you have any questions?
No questions for me, thank you, Chair.
Okay,
I don't know if the premises user has any questions. Though.
yes. So I'm just trying to find my place. Yes, Tamara, do you have any questions of environmental health?
No.
Okay. So at this stage, I'd like to ask our legal officer to deal with any further queries that she may have.
I don't have any further queries, thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Do the licensing officers have anything to add, or the governance officer anything to add?
Nothing to add from licensing, thank you, Chair.
And nothing further from governance. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Okay, thank you. We've reached the end of the meeting. We will withdraw now for a further 10 minutes to arrive at our decision, and then we will come back and let you know what we have decided. Thank you.
Thank you. So the committee have returned, I believe, to announce the decision. So can I just double check once again? I can see Harane's on the call. Thank you very much. Janelle, are you there?
I am indeed.
Thank you. Tamara, I can see you. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Matt, are you online?
Everyone's here?
Yeah, I'm online.
Perfect.
Okay.
And Paul, can I just double check that you're also?
I'm here. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you. That's everyone, Madam Chairman, when you're ready.
Okay, fine. So I'm reconvening the meeting and I'm going to read out the decision. This is for a temporary event notice for 289 Westbourne Park Road, London, West 11. The committee has considered objections from the police and environmental health to a temporary event notice, which has been given by Ms. Tamara Nicola Gouveia for the sale by retail of alcohol on and off the premises and the provision of regulated entertainment at the above premises on Sunday the 24th of August and Monday the 25th of August between the hours of 12 noon and 7 p.m. for a maximum number of 10 people at any one time. The committee has considered the committee papers and the submissions made by the parties, both orally and in writing. In reaching its decision, the committee has had regard to the relevant legislation, the Secretary of State's guidance, and the authority's statement of licensing policy. In summary, the committee decided, after taking into account all the individual circumstances of the case and the prevention of crime and disorder, prevention of public nuisance and public safety licensing objectives, to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003 for the event. This notice means permission for the licensable activities requested in the 10 has not been approved. The committee decided that allowing the 10 would in this instance undermine the prevention of crime and disorder, the prevention of public nuisance and public safety licensing objectives, and it determined to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003. A copy of the reasoned decision will be provided without undue delay. If the premises user would like to appeal against this decision, such an appeal must be made to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days from the date of the notification of the full decision, but in any event, no later than 5 working days before the start of the proposed temporary event. So thank you all for attending. That is the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. Bye.